My dad had records. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that's another thing. That's where I got my record enthusiasm from. Picking up my dad's records. And every Sunday, I don't know if it was a Jamaican household thing, every Sunday, we used to play reggae and sing in the house. Do you know what I mean? You're doing your scribblings and blah, blah, blah. And me, I was never a piecer. I was just a out and out bomber. Destruction. Do you know what I mean?
What was your kind of weapon of choice? You know, was you like busting out the Edding 850s, the Pentels, the torch pens and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Edding 850s. Yeah, definitely. Ooh. You know, stories of like, you know, when I look at the South London buses, ours weren't as mad up as those. Ours weren't as mad as those. East London buses were hit, definitely, because, you know, I remember going on hitting a few, but they weren't as mad as South London, though. That page that you've got on Facebook now that shows photos of buses, and you think to myself, wow, I remember those days, man. Classic, going to the back, hitting the back, just came, you had no cameras. I even went yard from the Mud Club one Friday night, and I had platforms on and everything, and I went yard that night. That's how mad it was. You know what I mean?
That's brilliant. Can you imagine, like, if you're getting chased and you're like,
I'm telling you,
Starsky and Hutch?
I think they'll be rubbing their eyes thinking, what are we chasing?
Yeah, this is some kind of freak from the 70s, man.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's an important thing, music-wise, for people to always have music in their life.
Lights, camera, action. On this week's show, we have club promoter and DJ from back in the 80s who used to dabble in the fine arts, who is highly respected in the world domination crew WD, who left his mark on many a surface, and London was like his playground, his canvas, blessing up and battering many locations with his hand style of fire. Whilst dressing to impress with his funky, freaky 70s style, we have the one and the only Flowerz in the place. Yes, man.
Yes. Woo! Give you a round of applause, sir, for having me on here.
Yes, Flowerz, it's an honour.
Wicked.
And I can't wait to get down to the nitty gritty, drop some, talk about all that sort of early mid 80s clubbing scene, the fashion, the flares, the freaks, the jumble sales, the record digging, a bit of the Graff stuff. It's what kind of made us, wasn't it?
Oh, totally, man. I mean, we dabbled in quite a lot of different stuff, you know, and that was the beauty of it. We were like doms, we were all over the place, we were everywhere. Do you know what I mean? So we had our hands in little pies and stuff, which was, you know, you get to meet a lot of people there.
100%. And I can't wait to talk about the tube parties and all that good stuff. So listen, anyone watching this, subscribe to the channel, just press the subscribe button and share this around the socials, because what you're going to hear is going to be brilliant. We're going into that kind of mid 80s clubbing scene, Graff scene and all. You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready, man. Always ready.
Let's do this. So first two questions I always ask is, you know, whereabouts are you from and what was it like growing up, you know, as a kid?
Originally from Hackney, from the 70s, you know, Holly Street. Everyone knows Holly Street was a mad area. As a young kid growing up there, you know, my dad was a tailor. He used to make clothes for people. Believe it, he used to make our school uniform and stuff like that. I got brother and sister, so he used to make our school uniform and stuff. He used to make all our clothes and stuff like that. You know, wicked. We weren't rich or anything like that. Yeah. You know, we were rich in flavour and, you know, in style and stuff. And, you know, in Hackney, it was mad because we were there until, I say, about 81. And then we moved to Jamaica for a year and a half. So I think about, or is it 80? I see times my memory's like a bit of shot. So it's about 80 to about 80, 81, middle of 81, we came back to the UK. During that time, we were going to Jamaica. We were on the plane because we got sent by ourselves. It was like me, my brother and sister. We got sent, but we had to stop off at New York. So we stopped off at New York, I think, for a day or 2 days. And I've always remembered this lasting memory of getting in a yellow cab, going to a hotel, because we had to stay in a hotel. And I can't remember why we had to. I don't know if one of us were ill or something, I don't know, but we had to go to New York for 2 days. So we were just in New York for 2 days. And I just always remember being in this yellow cab and watching American TV on this TV in the hotel. It was weird. And, you know, I saw Graff. I didn't know it was Graff. I just saw writing all over the place. I didn't know what it was.
Did you like? Did you like it, or did you think it looked like a mess? Oh, you loved it?
No, I liked it because you got to remember, my dad was a tailor, so he always had drawings in the house. There were always drawings of like sketches of clothes and blah blah blah. But I related that to being art, so I was always into the art thing. So when I saw that in America, I was like, you know, what is this? I didn't know what it was. I didn't even ask about it. I just saw all these scribbles and stuff like that. So it was a lasting memory on me.
So really, Graff kind of touched you back then. When was that? Kind of what, like late 70s?
No, that was about 80, around the 80s, beginning of the 80s, because we stopped over for 2 days on our way to Jamaica.
So there's still quite a lot of Graff going off. I mean, if anyone's seen the film called The Warriors, that was filmed in 79, you know, early 80s. So it was that kind of time, wasn't it? Yeah. So everything was still battered.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, as I said, it's a last for me. The last memory is just seeing scribbles and being in a yellow cab. Do you know what I mean? And going on them roads and
amazing.
And the roads they were like bumpy. The roads were bumpy, as I remember.
That's amazing. And you know, what sort of music was you growing up on? Was you like down with the kind of the reggae sound, the Motown stuff?
Yeah, it was reggae. It was soul. Not so much jazz, a bit of jazz, but it was more reggae, soul. My dad had records. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that's another thing. That's where I got my record enthusiasm from, picking up my dad's records. And every Sunday, I don't know if it was a Jamaican household thing, every Sunday we used to play reggae and sing in the house. And my sister used to sing a lot, and we used to just jam with her. You know what I mean? So that was a fun thing. So you always had that flavor of the music, and certain music always brings back that memory of us having, you know, singing. And my dad used to sing as well. He was in the band. And so he used to sing on stage. So we always had that in the house.
So yeah, you was getting like a lot of that early influence through your dad.
Yeah, oh definitely.
Yeah, same with a lot of us, man. My mum and dad were like mods of the late, like the 60s. So I grew up on that mod music.
Yeah. Classic, man. Always classics, and you always remember it.
You do, totally. Yeah, and it was totally different back then, wasn't it, Flowerz? I mean, there was a lot more kind of community spirit. There was a lot more family parties. If you notice, back in the day, like families were a lot kind of close. They lived closer together. Not like now where everybody's separated. No,
totally, because that's another thing. A lot of our family were in Hackney, and a lot were in South London. And I always remember going to jams in South London. You know, the kid, you didn't want to go, but once you got there, you loved it because the food. Do you know what I mean?
And the food and the music.
You didn't know, and do you know what I mean? So that was always a community spirit. You always went to parties, and so we always were in South London, always watching and going to parties and stuff like that.
Whereabouts in South London?
It was like Brixton, Croydon, all them sides.
Yeah. How London's changed. Well, we can talk about that later. But yeah, it's kind of lost its soul a bit, if you ask me.
Oh, definitely.
And so the big question is, you know, what was the spark that lit that flame to get you into into hip hop?
Right. Yeah. That's a mad one, because like when I was in school, because again, when we was in Hackney, we came back from Jamaica. Lived at my granddad's, which was in London Fields, Hackney. We stayed there for a bit, and then we got a council place up in Wells Street in Hackney. So we were there for a few years, and then we moved to East Ham. About 82, 83, we moved to East Ham, and I think around that time, it was like it was a weird area. East Ham was a weird area. Do you know what I mean? It was just like there was nothing happening. There was really nothing happening.
It's very kind of industrial back then as well, wasn't it? There was a lot of wasteland, and it's the same with a lot of London, man. There's a lot of wasteland, a lot of, you know, the land hadn't been developed on, and you know, there's a lot of warehouses derelict
stuff. Do you know what I mean? We used to live on the other side is East Ham BR tracks, and they've got a shed there with loads of trains in there. And obviously then I moved to East Ham 82, 83. And then, you know, had a best friend there. And then my best friend his brother used to be a break dancer. And he had a little sound as well. I'm still friends with him to this day. You know what I mean? And then I used to roll with him, made friends with him, became my best friend. I used to roll with him. And they used to do a lot of stuff with Westwood back in the day. Do you know what I mean? And they used to borrow Westwood stuff. They used to call the Junior Rockers. I don't know if you remember them, Junior Rockers. So we used to go and, well, I wasn't breakdancing then. I used to go with them. They used to train up in Forest Gate. And I used to go down and just watch them do their break. And they were young. They were younger than me. Do you know what I mean? And they were breakdancing.
When was this? Like kind of like 1983 around then?
Yeah, 83, 84. They were breakdancing. I was like, rah, this is heavy, man. Do you know what I mean?
And did you start dabbling in a bit of breaking and popping?
Just popping.
You used to like the popping.
I mean, yeah. Me and my brother used to clear the area out in our front of the house, and me and him used to just break dance and pop in, but we never really took it to the streets. Do you know what I mean? It was just always in our house and stuff like that. But because my dancing is more funk. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm more funk, but then I incorporated into my moves. You know what I mean? Like when you see James Brown did the robot and all that sort of stuff. So you incorporate that into your moves. You know what I'm saying?
So you just kind of like mixing it up a bit.
Mixing it up, which I've always mixed it up. I've mixed from ballet to jazz to hip hop to reggae. I always mix up in my dance.
And what kind of music was you saying was really blowing your mind back then? Would it have been some of the electro tunes like the Planet Rocks, Perfect Beat, all that stuff?
Electro stuff was rocking it.
Give us a taste. Give us a taste of some of that electro you loved.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! I mean, I'll show you my record collection. Do you know what I mean? Just because, in a sense of, I've got this compilation. I forgot the name of it. It's a compilation. It's got all the electro stuff on it.
Perfect Beat.
Planet Rock.
Perfect Beat. The Perfect Beat album. Has it got the glove, like the glove on the front?
No. It says New York something on the front of it, and it's got all Rockbury Jam.
Yeah, New York versus LA. It's got all the New York electro, and it's got all the LA stuff on the other side. That's wicked.
I mean, it's all them tunes. Do you know what I mean? That I used to listen to, and it's like, yes, this is heavy stuff. As I said, me and my brother used to just pop in our front room,
and it was quite underground. There wasn't really loads and loads of people into it.
No, not at all. Because like you walk around, and if you dress a certain way, it's like people looking at you going, what are you wearing? Do you know what I mean? It's like these trainers, these tracksuit bottoms, and do you know what I mean? Because people were busting Cecchini, Sergio, do you know what I mean? All these types of stuff, and people just don't really, because that was like very much football culture as well back then. Do you know what I mean? But then you were taking it to a different level because you were dancing with it on. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a good time.
And did you ever? Because in my school they banned breaking. They said there was people. They reckon there's people dying from doing head spins, so they banned it. And they said it was too dangerous. Did any of that go on in your school, or like banning of white socks?
No. Our school weren't like that at all. You know what was our school? Our school liked to fight. There was always fights in the school. That's what I always remember. You know what I mean? You know, they weren't really that. It was weird because it was Ilford. You know, I was near our school's called Little Ilford, and it was near Ilford, but it was a real mixture of people. So there wasn't that much of it. Was very much soul boy type of stuff going on in our school. There wasn't that much writers in our school at all. That sort of like hip hop heads. It was only me, my mate Paul, his brother. There was only a few of us, so there wasn't a big, you know what I mean, a big take on us.
And what about sort of the, who was you rated in terms of B-boys back in the day? Did you get see many sort of B-boys like London All-Stars, Sidewalk, Jedi Crew?
Yeah, Sidewalk, do you know what I mean? Is that the one with Paz, isn't it? And
Paz thing, Paz is wicked.
Yeah, because I remember Paz from East London, from my side.
Paz is,
he's from my side, because I remember them. That's who I always remember, them boys. And then we used to go up Covent Garden. Well, I used to go up Covent Garden. The thing is, I always said myself, I was always a shadow because I wasn't with them, but I was there watching. Do you know what I mean? Because all them boys knew each other because they were way on the scene before me and they were doing their stuff.
And what was Covent Garden like? I mean, can you explain to me what it was like? Who was kind of up there and why it was like a really important place?
Oh yeah, it was the Mecca for us. Do you know what I mean?
For London hip hop, it was definitely the Mecca.
It was the place that, you know, if you wanted to see it, you come from all over. You come from not just London, you come from everywhere to come there and show what you got. Do you know what I mean? So it was an inspiring time. And also them times, I said 85, 86, people were going clubbing as well. So you'd see people from the clubland down there. And say like if you went to the Mud Club, you'd see people there on the Saturday. Do you know what I mean? And you'd seen them in the Mud Club the Friday night before. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was like you're making friends with not just hip hop heads, but all different types of reggae heads, soul heads. Do you know, people would come down because you see friends. It's a congregation of friends. Do you know what I mean?
It was such a great meeting place. And I mean, in terms of the B-boys, you know, the wicked B-boys up, all the MCs. But in terms of Graff, I mean, you had some wicked writers. I mean, you had the Trailblazers, you had Non-Stop, you had Tough Arts, you know, London Giants. I mean, there was some wicked crews going. I mean, who was you rating back then, like the crews and the writers?
Trailblazers. And you know, I used to love Pride and Pride's such a cool dude as well. Do you know what I mean? Zaki, Mo, obviously Mode. Do you know what I mean? All them cats were always on point. Do you know what I mean? Always on point, ahead of their time as well. And that's what I used to love, because, you know, as a person getting into that art form, you know, you're just starting out. You're just like, right, no way on that level. Do you know what I mean? You're doing your scribblings and blah blah blah. And me, I was never a piecer. I was just a out and out bomber, destruction. Do you know what I mean? So when you see these big pieces, you're just like flabbergasted, because it's serious colors and styles going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they was really on that artistry type stuff. Whereas like they weren't really massively into like the bombing and getting the tags up all over the shop. They was more like into that art style.
Yeah.
Graffiti, you know, graffiti artists.
Yeah, completely. Whereas me, I'm just an out and out bomber, street bomber, train bomber, everything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, completely. And that and I love that. Do you know what I mean? Because if you believe it or not, tagging is an art form.
100%. So, yeah. Well, it all depends on on that hand style, because you look at some hand styles and it's rubbish, but there's some hand styles out there which will blow you away. I mean, can you remember some of the hand styles back then, Flowerz, that blew you away?
God, yeah.
I mean, there's so many to name.
Yeah, that's a stump, you know, because I always think of different hand styles in the picture in my head and who used to have dope. I mean, I used to love Robbo's hand style anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and his R.
His R was, and it is a recognizable hand style as well.
And the little devil's tail underneath the tag.
Yeah,
wicked.
I mean? It's dope. Those I used to like those WRH, and obviously Drax is when he came into his element, and you recognize that DX everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But there's quite a few, but I can't really name.
There's so many in it. You know,
many. You know
Fume, Excel. I mean, the list goes on.
You know, I guarantee this interview finished, and I go, oh God, why didn't I say blah blah? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones.
Yeah, but there was so many. And you know, what crews was you rating back then? I mean, like in terms of Graff crews, was you rating like We Rock Hard, WRH? Yeah,
WRH. A lot of the Big Met crews as well. Do you know what I mean? CCD. They were smashing it. Obviously CMS. Obviously, you know, later on I joined WD. I think it was like 87. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was loads of crews, but see, with me, it's like as a writer, I only focused on me. Do you know what I mean? I was always like, when I would go yard, I go by myself. Majority of the time I've been there, by myself. So I really, when you say influence, no one really influenced me. Yeah, because I'm that type of person where I do it by myself.
You done your own thing. Yeah,
I do it my way.
You was like the Lone Ranger.
And that's how I used to do it.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, man. That's how I used to do it. You know, even to this day, you know, a lot of the stuff that I do, you know, I think a lot of things. I think about a lot of things. I think, right, let me go and try and do this. You try and do it with people, but they're not on the same wavelength. So you have to go and do it yourself. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I used to do it. So, you know, no one really. I could never say to myself, "Oh yeah, I see how to do it. I want to do it like them." I just did it. This is how I did it.
You did it your way.
My way.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
It's the only way. Otherwise, take the highway. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Flowerz, what was your kind of weapon of choice? You know, was you like busting out the Edding 850s, the Pentels, the torch pens, and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Edding 850s. Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
You know, stories of like, you go racking. There's spots all over Elephant Castle. We used to go racking up there. We used to go and get loads of stuff from Ryman's. Where else? God, there was all different plots. Ilford, there were plots in Ilford. But Edding and get the ink and just filling it up and always having it juicy. And the thing is, you always had your spots. You knew what train station and stairwell to go down. Everyone went down a certain stairwell, Covent Garden stairwell, different stairwells you go down to get your tag up, and you see who's been there either like an hour before or a week ago where they weren't buffing it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Edding 850 definitely. And what else? Other stuff. But a lot of the time as well, we used to make our own pens.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say that. Our own pen. Yeah.
Little pill.
The Kodak cases.
No, I used to make the bigger ones. The pill pots. The little pill pots.
Yeah.
Right. And we used to call them a mop. You know what I mean? We used to use that. I tell you who was good for that. Emmett was brilliant with doing that, man. Emmett used to do that all the time. And we used to make our pens massive and just the drips, quality.
Did you ever use shoe polish? Shoe
polish?
Yeah. And how about do you remember the blackboards at school, the chalk markers? And you used to drip it on and you used to get a tag about 6 inches long. Yeah. It's proper killer. Yeah, you'd have to do it on like some massive bus stop because the bus weren't big enough. Yeah.
And again, buses, as you say, around here. I mean, they used to get bombed, but when I look at the South London buses, ours weren't as mad up as those. East London buses were hit definitely because I remember going on hitting a few. But they weren't as mad as South London, though. Well,
South London buses were were battered, battered and destroyed because basically we didn't have a tube. We didn't have a tube network. So, but the buses were our canvas.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing them, that page that you've got on Facebook now that shows photos of buses, and you think to myself, wow, I remember those days, man. Classic, going to the back. Yeah, in the back, just you had no cameras.
Yeah,
so you had the freedom,
and you could smoke. You could smoke on the bus as well, wasn't it? Yeah,
smoke on the back of the bus.
It's crazy.
It was a different lifetime, man. It's different.
It was totally different. But it was amazing. And did you go? What other locations did you go to for the Graff stuff? Was you going like the Westway, under the Westway?
Westway, yeah. Go underneath there.
That was brilliant under there, wasn't it? I used to love it under that Westway, man. It was so walking over that bridge from Westbourne Park. Yeah, the bridge. The bridge.
That bridge is a classic bridge. What that was in? Is it Spray Canal? That was in.
Yeah, it was. It was in Spray Canal.
Yeah.
But we used to walk over that bridge, and then you'd look left to right and find out where the wicked pieces were. You go on the other side, and then obviously run down to the pieces, get a few little shots with your camera, or maybe do a bit of freaking few tags under there, and off you go. Yeah.
And the thing about me is I never took a camera with me, so. What my eyes saw is what my eyes saw. Do you know what I mean? I can tell you that I saw this, I saw that. Do you know what I mean? But I wish I had a camera. Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff, you know what I mean? Some of the stuff you don't see anymore.
100%.
So it's like, and what we're talking, the thing about 86, right? 86, 87, I sort of like more got into the club scene. So all that stuff that I was doing was dying off a little bit. And my forte was more in the dance because I was more then turning into the fashion style of stuff. Clothes, dancing. So them little things, I was in it for a little bit. The graphing at the beginning, I was in it for a little bit. And then the fashion and the dance took over.
Flowerz, listen, you was exactly the same as me. I gave Graff up around probably 1985. I got nicked for doing it. And to be honest, I didn't really want to carry it on because I was like you. I started going to the clubs. Yeah. And, I loved the club. The club life, man, was wicked. What clubs was you first going to? Like the WAG?
Yeah, WAG. Mud Club, and there was all different little clubs. There was the thing about the West End. They were all little clubs that used to go to. Do you know what I mean? There was a bar called Whispers, which was opposite Astoria, which was a little club there. My friend used to do a club night there. We used to go everywhere. Camden, there were clubs everywhere. We went everywhere.
I mean, some of my favourite clubs was Raw. I used to love Raw. Tonical Road. You used to go down that spiral staircase down the bottom.
Yeah, the YMCA.
Yeah, the YMCA, the Opera House, man. Opera House was wicked because Opera House was actually in a theatre, wasn't it?
In a theatre, yeah. And they had a sloping dance.
Yeah. Sloping dance on. People dancing all on the theatre seats. And like, I remember one time it was really weird in this because I think it was run by Philip Salom, wasn't it? Opera House.
Yeah.
There was like this, it was really trippy. There was like this old woman or it might have been a man dressed up as an old woman in a rocking chair, and she's like on the stage rocking like this with like a white wig on, and you're like dancing to like hip hop and funk. It was incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I said in another interview, Mud Club was where I met a lot of people, and it made me be able to do a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because from Mud Club, I got to join S Express. And by joining S Express, I got to travel around Europe and do a lot of stuff. And from that, I got to do a lot of stuff. Got to see a lot of people, did a lot of clubs, did a lot of touring. Do you know what I mean? So Mud Club, when we used to go Mud Club, and the clothes I used to wear, my dad used to make for me. Yeah. I used to try and make some as well. You used to look wicked. Music wise, it was hip hop and funk, wasn't it? Really? Yeah. This is really kind of just before like acid house. That's right. I mean, you're talking about they used to play obviously James Brown. They used to play Just Begun. All these things, and you see the place clear. Scotty, Flash, all them boys were just on the dance floor killing it. Do you know what I mean? And the beauty of it, you had writers in there. Yeah. You had raggers in there. Yeah. You had gay people. You had straight people. You had punk. You had rockers. You had everyone in there in the melting pot, right? And that's what I say about something like that. That gives you ideas of how to do clubs, how to do stuff for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because it's imagination. If you don't have imagination, in a sense, you can't go forward in trying to do something a bit different. And the fashion. And the fashion, to get through Philip's salon on the door, you had to look the part, or you had to look a bit quirky. So I remember like going to jumble sales, because if you think about it, Flowerz, this is just after the 70s. So we're going into kind of the mid 80s, 85, 86. So when you went to jumble sales and charity shops, you could still pick up like a wicked pair of flares and the frilly shirts and all that. Yeah. But the thing is, you can actually go there and pick up something. There'll be jumble sales, but they'll be brand new. Yeah. You can pick up stuff that was brand new, but it was seconds in a sense. No one really wore it. Do you know what I mean? Because it was left over from the 70s. Someone bought some, couldn't really, like, say a shop bought some, couldn't sell them, so just gave them to jumble sales. Do you know what I mean? So you had brand new stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So, we used to go and buy flared suits. I mean, I remember in East Ham, they used to have, like, this shop, and it had, like, some funky shoes in there. I used to buy these, they call them spoon shoes. They were just, like, mad, like Charlie Chaplin shoes, man. Platforms. I used to go dance in platform shoes. I mean, it was mad. It was an absolute crazy time. Crazy. I mean, I even went yard from the Mud Club one Friday night, and I had platforms on and everything. And I went yard that night. That's how mad it was. You know what I mean? That's brilliant. Could you imagine, like, if you're getting chased and you're like, I'm telling you, Starsky and Hutch? I think they'll be rubbing their eyes, thinking, "What are we chasing?" Yeah, this is some kind of freak from the 70s, man. What's going on? Yeah, exactly. The thing is, right? I remember walking. I was from East Ham, 86. We'd moved to Barking, so I remember walking from and the people from East Ham Station. I remember East Ham Station. They used to know my dad. And when I used to walk, you're Eric's son. Look, playing with your freaky claws, because you'd be all Jamaican men on working at the station. Look, playing you with your freaky claws. You know what I mean? And in Barking, I used to get all from because Barking at them times was really racist. So when I was walking to go Mud Club on a Friday night, they'd be like, "Oh, you think you are? Look at you with that bowl, blah blah." I used to get it in the air. Do you know what I mean? I used to get it all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? It was mad. It was so you had to be a strong character in what you were doing.
You did, because really there wasn't many of us like, there wasn't many of us rocking that style. I was the same. I had a big spike in the front of my hair. I had the big bomber jacket with a Def Jam patch on the back with a mad pair of flares, rocking even kilt. Remember kilts as well? Some people wear kilts.
Yeah. All that mad stuff.
And the girls with like wicked cropped hair, like a Yaz, like the wicked orange cropped hair. Like DMs with the front sawn off. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing, wasn't it?
For me, there was some of the best times that I've had in the sense of clubbing, because again, I met so many people. I danced my ass off. I danced like I would dance from beginning to end. You know what I mean? And I never really used to drink because I would want to dance because the music was good and I would dance for everything. You know what I mean? It was the best clubbing. Some of the best clubbing.
It was amazing, yeah. And you'd have a few cans of Red Stripe, and that was it. Was off. You was off.
Yeah.
And getting home was just as good as what it's getting. I mean, because there was no night tubes, there was no trains. You just have to jump on the bus, and the bus was like a party, wasn't it? You would be having like a mad party. Yeah,
the bus was like clubbing because you'd find out who would live in East London for a start, because I was from East, and you'd find out who's living in East London. Right, I just saw you in the club, and you'd be like, "Yeah, man," and you'd be having a conversation, and then there'd be something mad going on. There's a fight going on, man. What's going on? So there'd be crazy stuff. I remember one time got on the bus, and there was a fight on the bus, and the bus diverted in Popular to the police station. And just parked outside the police station, and the police came running out to the bus. It was like, what's going on here? And then also back then, because you're going through Popular, it was very racist again. You'd have loads of skinheads, and this is like 86, 87. You still have skinheads on the bus, and then you're a black guy with a few of you, and they'll come on. They think they could intimidate you because of the way you dress as well. So you had to deal with that. So you were dealing with all sorts of mad stuff back then.
It's a different time, and also Soho as well. I mean, what was Soho like? I mean, you'd have all them like them peep shows and like red light district. I mean, it was totally grimy, but it was full. It was also full of soul as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, because we used to go to a lot of the clubs that were shut. You know what I mean? You just knock on the door, bam, yeah. If you knew people as well, you can get into these clubs, and like, where's clubs would finish 3 o'clock and all that. These places were going on to 6, 7 in the morning, and we used to go to them because we used to know people from the Mud Club. Yeah, come down here, blah blah blah, and we would go. So you'd be out all night sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it was great. It was great.
It was wicked, and also the importance of the Wag Club. I mean, you'd have to get past the free bouncer. Was it Winston? There was another two bouncers.
As one we used to call him 007 because he had the sharp. Like he was just sharp. Winston. But you know what?
They made it.
Cool with me.
Yeah, they made it because if it wasn't for them, could you imagine like some of the people going in? That's what made the Wag Club so good. Is because it was a select few going in there. It was wicked, wasn't it? Wag Club is so good.
They had a lot of good stuff. That I mean, to be fair, I say. Down the line, I started doing clubs. I did some clubs down there. So in the late 80s, I started doing clubs down there. Do you know what I mean? And for about a decade, I started doing all different types of clubs down there. So I'll give it to them. You know what I mean? They made me, who they didn't know me, but I started to make my name on the scene. So, and I started to do clubs all over the place in the West End, different venues and stuff like that. And I went there and I said, I want to do my club. And they said, yeah. And I did it with another guy called Sam from St. Martin's. And I used to put on a lot of hip hop clubs down there. I put on Caveman, Outlaw Posse. There's quite a few people that we put on down there. So I did a break dance thing down there when breaking weren't really hip, about 96. breaking weren't really hip, I put a breakdancing night on down there, and it was good. And I got sponsored by Adidas, and it was good.
You know, how did you get become a member of WD World Domination? Was that through Drax? Was it going through like the club scene? Because I mean, with Drax, I mean, big shout out to Drax as well.
Yeah, big up.
Drax was like, he always reminds me of like the general. He's kind of got that presence where you know Drax knows everybody, and so what happened? Did like Drax approach you and say, "Look, Flowerz, we want you to be down with WD"?
You know what? I can't remember because we all before I was in WD, we all used to go mud club, or we used to go warehouse parties, or we used to see people, and I used to see the same people, and we're all on the same level. And as we always said, WD is not just a Graff crew; it's just people who like going out partying as well. So you know, when they saw me, I was like going out partying. They just thought, you know what? Let's bring him in. Let's bring a new member to the crew. Do you know what I mean? Because I was out 7 nights of the week. I used to work in office shoes in Top Man, in concession section. I used to work in office shoes, I think around 85, 86. I used to work there, and I'll be out every night. And next morning I'll be going to work.
Flowerz, that's mad, because I used to work just up the road in a shoe shop in 1986 called Grand Level. And and they used to be part of Ground Level. They used to be part of Cecil G as well, G2.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met Drax, because Drax was a friend with a guy I used to work with called Jinx. He used to write Jinx.
Oh, yeah.
And Jinx was good friends with Drax, and that's the first time I met Drax was in 1986.
Oh, right. That's mad, because, I used to work at the office shoes. And you know, I always tell this story. You know, what's that presenter? There's a presenter who's on TV, who's on GMT with the black guy. He used to work upstairs.
Did he?
In the suit section upstairs. Because and he always used to say to us, "I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous." And I always tell my kids that. I said, "You see that guy there? I used to work in the same floor department." You know what I mean? That's crazy. I used to like go clubbing every night. I've got a list somewhere upstairs. I've got a list. I used to write down every club I used to go to.
So with the WD thing, I mean, obviously there was being train parties organised on the underground, and the first one I went to that as well. It was like a meeting point was the Embankment on the Circle Line. Yeah. I mean,
heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I still tell people to this day, and you know, I post it up in certain groups and blah blah blah. And I mean, it's the short snippet you see that they've got on video. It doesn't really tell you what it was like.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It was crazy, absolutely. It was like a club, a moving club. Do you know what I mean? All madness was going on. All type of madness,
and the lights
getting taken out.
Yeah.
And people who were on the train would join us.
Yeah,
just normal people would join.
Everyone was drinking and smoking, and
you could.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it was lively. Again, it was lively. And another thing I'll never forget. And it's, you know, you had graffers, you had clubbers. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
And the way we was all dressed, like it must have looked like something from the scene from the Warriors, like when they pulled into Coney Island, all jumping off. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
And crossing tracks and all, you know what I mean? It was crazy. I loved it.
So what clubs was you putting on back in the day? You got any old flyers from back then?
See, this is one of the parties I did at Prohibition. I don't know if you can see that. Breaks and Beats. I think that was about 92 though. That was about 92. I did a Breaks and Beats night at Prohibition, Hanover Street. I've got loads. And this is the Melt at the Wag. My night was called, can't really see that, see-through. It was called Project Groove. I used to have Sophie from Black Market. She used to DJ. We used to put on all different DJs. We got I think Glenn Gunner was playing there as well. Because I was doing the funk and hip hop room, and they had sort of like a house and stuff room upstairs, which the guy from St. Martin's used to put on. So we used to do it. I've got loads, honestly. Another thing I did at a Levi's World AIDS Day thing, which we got Sharp over from America, we got Alp One from France, Prime did it, Art Jazz, Wigan. So we did canvases in Golden Square, and we auctioned those at the Levi's gallery, and we were on the James Wells show. We got Art Jazz and Wigan painting live on the James Wells show as well, which was excellent.
Art Jazz is wicked. I interviewed Art Jazz about 3 months ago, and I know that picture behind you is also done by Art Jazz as well, wasn't it? That's
right. That page that I do called Bring the Noise, which brings all clubbers, DJs, everyone together.
Anybody watching this, go to Flowerz Facebook page. It's called Bring the Noise, and it's on Facebook, isn't it, Flowerz?
Yeah, Bring the Noise, our story, our history. And it's about everyone telling their story of what they used to do back in the day. Stories from, as you say, the night bus at Trafalgar Square, the mad stuff that used to go on at Trafalgar Square. And they're posting the type of shops that they used to go to in the 80s, 90s. And it's all based from the 80s, 1980 to 1999. All the stories are usually from that era. The flyers, the places they used to go to eat, Bar Italia, all the place, Polo Bar in Soho. Everyone used to go Polo Bar. All these little haunts that people used to go to. It's all there. So go and check it out, man.
Definitely check it out. And also pulling out them flyers. We got to say, Flowerz, because back in the day, this is before the internet. There was, you couldn't go on the internet or email someone. Basically,
right.
It was word of mouth, and also the pirate radio stations and flyers. Yeah. So can you tell me the importance of the pirate radio station?
Oh, it's massive, because, you know what I mean? You just listen in to find out where to go and what's on, and also listen to your favorite DJs and listen to what they're playing. And also, as a collector, you'd try and find what tune that guy's playing. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes they wouldn't tell you. Do you know what I mean? Some of the DJs would just didn't give a damn and would say, "Oh, this is blah blah blah," but some of them wouldn't tell you. So you'd try and find out, what is that tune? Do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, "Yes, that was a what would you call it? A look into someone's soul, in a sense. The music they were playing that wasn't allowed outside of the mainstream. Do you know? Mainstream wouldn't allow it. Do you know what I mean? So pirate radio is, we were looking into what people were thinking and what people wanted.
They was playing our music. They was playing our music. They was playing the underground music. They was playing all the old school funk tunes, innit? All the old school hip hop stuff, and current hip hop stuff as well. But it was the stuff that wasn't being played on the commercial radio stations.
That's right. And as I say, it's the stuff that you heard. You wanted it. As a person buying records, you wanted it. So you'd go to different record stores, Groove Records. You go to all over them. Mine was, I'll go to the really obscure ones. There were places near me, East End, Barking, low price records. From Camden, you would go Pop Beat. Downstairs, you'd go there. Do you know what I mean? You go all over searching for certain tunes, all over.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it, Flowerz? Absolutely incredible. And the vibe, the vibe, I mean, going record digging was so good, wasn't it? Going through that, going through the crates and, sniffing out that mad funk 45 or that wicked hip hop tune. It was such a good time.
Yeah. I still do it to this day, and I still get the buzz of finding a tune that no one's got or no one's heard of, and then busting it, and people going, "What is that?" That's the buzz that I had then and I still have now. And, you think about music, so many people, like from the 60s, so many different nations played funk. Do you know what I mean? So funk isn't just American. Do you know what I mean? It's come from that district, America, but everyone emulated it. So your search as a collector, you don't just search for one type of, it's only come from America, I'm going to collect that. It comes from everywhere. I found funk from everywhere.
And the importance of music, music, if we don't have music is our heartbeat. It keeps us alive. It keeps us moving, keeps us positive.
Oh, definitely. Do you know what I mean? As I always say, without music, there's no soul. There's no soul in your body. I mean, you can put a song on, and a 90-year-old person, and it brings back memories, and they'll get up and dance, or they move their shoulders, so it's in your soul. And I think it's an important thing, music-wise, for people to always have music in their life, because it's a thing that you reminisce on, because you remember certain things, And by remembering certain things, it jogs your memory. By jogging your memory, it keeps you fit, really. You don't just want to sit there and not listen to anything, because you end up in the doldrums, man. Do you know what I mean? So I always play, in my house, I always play music. Always.
And I always play music in my cab. It's what keeps me going on the streets, and busting all different styles of music. And the good thing with music as well, Flowerz, is there's still so much music out there that we haven't even heard. Yeah.
I mean, I heard something the other day, a band called Salt, Soult. I was like, right, this is good, man. Do you know what I mean? And just on the off chance I heard it, I was like, imagine me hearing that, and there's like 10 others like that, and that's still opening up my mind to other stuff out there.
And the good thing now, obviously, one of the plus sides of the internet is you go on things like YouTube, and you can start digging through all these obscure breaks, and it's amazing. Some of the music out there now, it's mind blowing. Like that was made back in the 60s, the 70s.
Yeah.
And also, how did you get your name Flowerz?
Yeah, well, I did a tour. Where is it? In '87, we went to Japan. And again, through the WAG Club, that's why I say, respect to the WAG Club and Chris Sullivan, big up Chris Sullivan. They were like, as I say, at that time, we were a name on the scene. There was a few of us. And he took the main people on the scene who were like doing stuff. He took about 25 of us over to Japan.
Wow.
And we modeled for Men's Tenoros, the Japanese label. The Japanese girls used to call me Hana-chan, because I used to have a flowery hat.
That's like the floppy one. Yeah. I remember that.
So I used to have that hat, and even though I had it at a mud club, I can't remember if people were calling me Flowerz then. I can't remember if I don't think they were calling me Flowerz then, back in 85, 86. I don't think they were. It's only when I went to Japan, they used to call me Hana-chan, and the man with the flowery hat.
I love it, man. What a story. Wicked.
Yeah, Flowerz. It's like,
wicked.
Yes. Do you know what I mean?
Wicked. Well, Flowerz, listen, it's been a brilliant interview. Is there anybody you want to kind of give a little shout out to?
Big up to everyone I know. Seriously, everyone I know. To my missus, to my kids. They have to enjoy my music that I play all the time. You know what I'm saying? Everyone from the WD, and also my B&B crew, Graff, Ein, WD lot. You, my man, for putting me on here, of course, and basically everyone I know. That encompasses everyone. I mean, there's loads I could have spoken about what I've done, flyer wise. I said I've got a pile of flyers here and things that I've done. It's just a vast. I used to write for the Evening Standard. I used to do stuff like that. I've modeled. I had my own clothes wear, Flowerz design. I've done quite a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Which, it's very hard to like get in a few 30, 45 minutes. It's very hard to get in. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's been near on an hour, and we could go for another hour quite easily.
Yeah, easily. The amount of stuff, honestly.
Listen, maybe we'll have to do a part 2 at some stage. Maybe we'll hook up with Drax and a few others, and we'll do like a part 2. Yes,
that would be good. That would be good. Yeah. And what I'll do, I've tried my hardest, but it's been so busy this week. I run a dance school as well, because through my dance, and my missus is an ex-dancer, we're both ex-dancers. I run a dance school for the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean? And we just did a show at the Royal Institute of British Architects last night, and my dancers were dancing there, and they just killed it. It was excellent.
Mate, amazing.
We've always got stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? And I'm giving back to the community. That's my main thing now. I'm giving back to the community, and this is by having this dance. It's brilliant.
And it's so positive for those, for them little kids out there, especially this year we've been through with this, this thing going on. Yeah. It's a great escape for them to get out there, and what better way is there to listen to decent music and dance?
Yeah, completely. Take you out of all the madness going around you. You put your blinkers on in a way to say, I don't want none of this affecting me. I just want to concentrate. I want to enjoy myself dancing. And if you would have seen the faces of these people last night. I mean, I posted it on my my Instagram and my if you follow us on BDYD on Instagram and BDYD, just put in BDYD our website, you can see all the amazing stuff we do. If you just look at the people's faces, they loved it last night.
No, listen, no money can buy that. Honestly, that comes from within.
Yeah, totally. And
that comes from within.
Yeah, to see that, and you know, it was a good sign off last night, just to show that what we're doing for the kids is positive, completely positive. Because there's a lot of negativity that, you know, kids are going through these days, and then to come out to do something positive is it's a strike. You know what I mean? It's a good strike up there.
It's a massive strike, and what we need good people in our community, exactly like you, Flowerz, putting back and, you know, giving our kids like a positive kind of energy that they can go with. Because as you said, there's a lot of negativity out there. You know, there's a lot of like bad news and negative news. What we need is more positive people out there doing positive things, exactly like you. And it means the world to the kids. It really does. And to see their little faces light up, everybody, you know, under one roof, just literally being positive and enjoying themselves. That's what it's all about. Definitely. And that's how we're going on. We're going on strong. You know, as another thing, I say there's a lot of things that because we're a small charity. Yeah, we're going for 20 years. We're a small charity. During the pandemic, 2019, all the big charities shut up shop. Yeah, we carried on. We've carried on from 2019 to still going now. We haven't shut up shop since we started. Do you know what I mean? And that shows, and not just us, all the smaller charities who are doing the groundwork, who are keeping these kids off the street and doing something positive. Even live on Zoom, we were doing stuff. You know, we kept going. These big guys, they were nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I mean? And that says a lot. It says a lot about what's happening, how they're really focusing on what they need to do for the people on the lower level. We need to bring them up. We need to bring these people on the lower up, give them confidence, prosperity, something positive. Listen, there's a lot of good people out there in the community doing a lot of positive things, and I take my hat off to you. Salute every single one of you. You're all amazing, and a big clap to you all. You're fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Everyone doing their bit, man.
Whether you're like a brand, a guide leader, you know, you're doing your thing in your churches or whatever you're doing, you know, you're doing a positive thing, and please keep it going for the future generation. Definitely. But Flowerz, listen, man, it's been an absolute honor. I hope you've enjoyed this interview as well. Yes. And anybody watching this, I'm going to put the link as well, Flowerz, for the charity and what you do in the description box. Below. And anybody watching this, please subscribe to this channel. I've interviewed people like Poppin' Pete, Public Enemy, Said G, Ultra Magnetic MCs, T Kids Scheme, Jumping Jack Frost, Rodney P, Skinny Man, Aswad, Chester P, Nicky Black Market, and many more. And now we've got Flowerz in the place. So listen, Flowerz, it's been amazing.
Yes, it was a pleasure, man. It was good.
And remember, follow Bring the Noise on Facebook.
Yes, Bring the Noise. You're going to see a lot of people that you know on there. So definitely do that.
Flowerz, it's been an honor.
Yeah, respect, my man.
Peace from the southeast.
Peace from the east.